Hello, it's me, and this is a special report about managing your Steam library. Uh, if you are not obsessed with every facet of your Steam account and controlling your games library, this will be of limited use to you. But for very special people like myself, um, this is pertinent information. Okay, on Steam. Steam, uh, as you know, Steam has the option to refund games. You can also hide games. You can also remove games permanently from your library. Though really, you can take it back and say, never mind, give it back to me. So it's more like hiding it really well than removing. Though I guess technically it does remove it. It's just that you can, it's not like remove your license, just remove it from your library. But what you need to understand is all three of these different types of erasing a game from your library have certain things in common. In particular, when you've played a game, it doesn't matter how you get rid of it or if you get rid of it, Steam remembers. Steam does not forget, and Steam won't let you forget. So let me give you an example. This is Dungeonland. It was actually kind of fun, but it was published by Paradox, and I've learned that Paradox is a piece of shit. Piece of shit Paradox. Paradox is a piece of shit publisher. Apparently well known for releasing nickel and dime cosmetic DLC, and even worse, very poor post-launch long-term support of their titles, and that they stop maintaining servers, patches, and will even allow their games to break without ever doing anything about it, and continuing to sell these broken games. So, for example, Dungeonland, which is free to play now, but it wasn't always. Dungeonland, you play a dungeon master. You could have other players play like heroes and play against each other. It was actually kind of fun, and I liked it. And the thing about Dungeonland is that there were unlockables and like DLC and purchasable like new creatures and new like dungeons with like basically new environments. The master server that apparently managed your unlocks and like what stuff you owned as far as DLC is concerned went down. And not only did took no steps to bring the unlockables back. They didn't unlock it for everyone. They just left it. So only half the game was playable now, regardless of whether or not you've made any purchases or if you were an owner. So the game is pretty much broken. Technically playable, but you can't play with other people, and half of the content's missing. It's impossible to get certain achievements. So I'll call that broken. But it's still here. Now, the only good thing is that it can't take your money anymore because the server, well, the part where that allows the transactions is also is broken. So when you click on make a purchase, nothing happens. It just doesn't do anything in the game. Oh my gosh, so amazing, the technical skill. But I'm going off on a rant here. So Dungeonland is not a game you want in your library anymore because who wants a non-functional game?
12.
Non-functional game in your library, right? So you remove it from your library, or you refund it, whatever the hell you do. It doesn't matter. If you've ever played it, this ugly, hideous, triggering box shows up asking you to review it. So you can never pretend that you didn't own it. And that is true of any game on Steam. If you refund a game on Steam, hide it from your library, or remove it from your library, this box is always here. So if you ever go to the game's page, you can't pretend you never played it. And even if you leave a review, the box is still there, which doesn't even make any sense. Like if you leave a review, it should, normally like it changes to you left a review and it points you to it, but it doesn't really work properly when you don't own the game anymore. So even when you leave a review, it still shows the review box. So it's like bugged as well as annoying. And the only solution is don't play a game unless you plan on keeping it for sure. Now, seeing this hideous box when you go to the page isn't the end of the world for all but the most extreme individuals like myself. But there is another issue that you need to be aware of, and that is achievements. Now, when you remove or refund a game that you have achievements on in Steam, and then you go to the achievement page, it says you don't have any. It says you don't own the game, so you have no achievements. So you're like, woo, but it's a lie. The achievements are a lie. It's not true. You see, even though it says this, you still have those achievements. It just sort of hides it from you, but it does a really bad job of hiding it, and it does affect you everywhere that achievements matter. So hiding it is not an acceptable resolution. In particular, when you go to your achievement showcase or anywhere and you look at your average game completion rate, if you've gotten any achievements in a game, it counts towards your average game completion rate. It doesn't matter if you've refunded it, hidden it, returned it, removed it, or burned the house down. Now, the exception is if you haven't gotten an achievement. So you can play a game, but if you've never gotten an achievement, it will not affect it. Only when you get that first achievement. So this is very important to be aware of, that you can play a game, but as long as you don't get an achievement, it won't affect your achievement rate. Once you get that first achievement, it will affect your achievement rate, and then the fact you only got one achievement and you only ever have one achievement for that game really kills your average game completion rate statistics, if you care about that. Plus, knowing that that achievement is actually still attached to your account, and it's always there. And there's even a way to see all the games you have achievements for, including games that you don't own anymore and that supposedly you don't have achievements for. And you don't even have to leave Steam to do this. It's in Steam. It's very poorly hidden. I don't even know if you can really say it's hidden. If you want to see a list of every game you have achievements for, and keep in mind, if you have a very old Steam account, you've removed a lot of games, and you don't want to know, this could damage you psychically. So, your psyche, not psychically, you don't have psychic powers. But if you want to know, and you're prepared to know for sure, this is what you do. You go to your showcases, right, for Steam, and you go down to, no, I already have it here. No, it's called the Achievement Showcase, right? Go to the Achievement Showcase, and you click on one of the tabs to select an achievement. You see, when you go to select which game you want achievements from for the Achievement Showcase, Steam will show you every game you have achievements for, including games that you don't own anymore and supposedly don't have achievements, but guess what you do? So you go to the list, and boom, every single game that you ever had an achievement for, the real list, not the fake list so you can sleep at night, will show here. So for example, Dungeon Land, which I removed from my library, but I unfortunately regret that I have some achievements for. If you click on Dungeon Land, you see there was a problem loading achievements. When it says that, that means that you do have achievements with this game associated with your account, but it doesn't show it to you because the game was removed. So instead it gives you this error. This error message means you do have achievements. It is affecting you, but you don't own the game. So if you return the game to your account, either through the support for re-adding a removed game from the Steam library, or you just buy it again because you refunded it, all of a sudden you'll see the achievements right here. And that means that if you go to the game page, it'll show you the achievements that was hidden, by pretending you don't, but you really do. So yeah, you can. So it's not gone. It's all here. You can see the list. Whenever you click on this option in Achievement Showcase and scroll through the games you have achievements for, and it does affect your overall achievement resolution rate. But keep in mind, it's not games played. It's only games you have an achievement for. So games that have no achievements or games you played but you never got an achievement don't count, which is good, I guess. Now, another thing, badges. Now, badges you can sort of control. If you have a game that has badges, or if you own cards for a game, even if you don't have the game, it'll show up under badges. But if you remove a game from your Steam library and you don't have any, you haven't earned any levels of badge, and you don't have any cards, that game disappears. So as far as badges is concerned, as long as you never earned an actual badge and you don't have any cards, sell the cards, turn them into gems, you're okay. So it's much easier to control your badges than your achievements, obviously. And I would say that do not earn don't earn a badge for a game until you're sure you want to keep it. Because once you do earn a badge, that badge is there forever. It doesn't matter if the game disappears. Which for some people might like that. Like you want to earn like every badge for every game and not even own the games. Some people just like badges. That's fine. It's just for you to understand. This is education. That as long as you don't have a badge, the game goes away from your badge list. Oh my goodness! I'm trying to make a video here. Okay, I'm going offline. Offline. There we go. All right. Sorry. Anyway, like I have badges for a game I don't own right here, Necropolis. I'm gonna sell these badges, and then the entire listing for the badge will go away. Now, talking about badges, it really annoys me how some games will show like just the nice clean hours on record, and other games will show no card drops remaining. Like, what the fuck is that? I don't want to see that shit. That's not pretty. I believe it's connected to whether or not you have a option for boosted, you're eligible for the free booster packs that sometimes people can get. So eventually, if you're not eligible anymore, this will disappear. But that's a guess. I don't know for sure. Either way, it's still ugly. Also, when you earn a foil badge, it'd be really nice if it automatically went next to the game, the regular badge for the game. Right now, just the order you earn them, so I can have like a foil badge and then have the regular badge separated by other badges, and it's not pretty, it's not symmetrical, it kind of triggers me, but it's not a huge deal. I also hate, that I have these Steam badges from back in the day that I can't max out, the old stale badges, because they made the Steam event badges limited time, which I guess is nice, except for the fact that you're stuck with the level 1 badge when it maxes out at 5, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not cool. But yeah, in general, okay, so badges, don't make a badge for a game unless you know you're going to keep it. And don't freak out if you have a badge for a game you don't want to see anymore, for a game you don't own, because it only happens to you with the card. So get rid of the cards, the game will disappear. And so just you got to keep in mind, guys, you got to keep in mind that even though you can refund games, and that's nice, once you play a game, the game will always register that you played it and ask you for a review. And if you earned an achievement, that achievement is there forever. And it affects your overall completion rate, and it will show up in certain places like special websites that do achievement tracking, and on the achievement showcase for games listing. So keep that in mind. What is the solution? Well, I mean, Steam's not going to cater to that very, very special people like us. So don't play a game unless you're pretty sure you want to keep it, and don't refund a game that you've already played unless you really want it gone, because it's just very difficult to impossible to remove all traces of games. And I mean, like a refund shouldn't be used without purpose anyway, so I guess it's a good thing that you have incentive not to refund. But in general, try not to earn achievements for games you're not going to keep. Don't play games you're not going to keep. Refund games you haven't played if you're going to refund something. Why would you refund a game you've never played? You bought it because it was on crazy sale, researched it afterwards, saw the game was terrible. You know what I'm saying? And think before you play a game or earn an achievement, because removing it doesn't remove it the way that you might think it does. Now, if, achievement completion rates and hidden statistics and review boxes and profiles and Steam pages don't bother you, which I imagine it doesn't for the majority of people, then you don't have anything to worry about. But at the very least, you might find some of this stuff interesting, how removing games affects you and everything. I know that I do. So hopefully you found that cool. And also, while I'm talking, I wanted to point out that Steam has this really annoying thing where if you buy a game that has VR officially listed as a capability, it adds a new category in your library for VR instead of just letting you decide. In addition to having a VR section in your library, it just messes up your entire library's organization. It's disgusting. You could get around it by having, one of those unofficial Steam skin things, but I don't like those. I like being natural. And I don't know, maybe they got rid of it recently. I haven't checked in like the last month or two, but that's how it was. I mean, I actually bought Subnautica when it was on sale, and then I saw that new VR section, and then was threw up in my mouth, and I refunded the game immediately. So I don't know what Steam's thinking with that nonsense. They're trying to push their VR crap, but it seems like it's horrible advertising. It's not going to work on people that don't already want VR, and all it does is push people like me away from ever buying VR titles. So hopefully that's, Steam will change it and make it so that, okay, fine, have a VR section just to rub it in, but in your general library there should never be forced categories. And in general, there should never be forced categories in your library, because organizing your games and organizing your toys is just something people like to do. And as the world goes digital, and as we go more digital, and like people are digital collectors, it becomes more and more important to understand, as a game store and a publisher, to allow the consumer to have ultimate freedom and just moving things around, because it costs them nothing. There's no reason not to, and let people do what they want to make them happy customers to buy more. So really hope that Steam changes that, and it's something to be aware of. So that's it for managing your Steam library. And this stuff is of limited use, mostly to people that are obsessed with complete control of their every little detail of their library, and think of it as a collection, not just individual games. But there are people like that, including myself, and I hope that this information is useful and interesting to you. If stuff. Praise Gaben. I need a drink. I'm parched. So we're ending this video, and GG.